Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we are bringing you the next episode of our series Design Within Reach, where we tour everyday people's homes to show you that you can create a beautiful home you love no matter what kind of budget you have. I am so excited for today because we are going through Chelsea Glattman's home. Chelsea is an interior designer based in NJ, and her home is truly perfection. Instagram doesn't do this home justice. We hope this video will. Let's just get into it.
Hi guys!
Hi Chelsea!
Welcome! Maddie and Bailey will be our little companions for today.
I am so excited to be in your home in real life. I was sharing a bit out there, but your Instagram is beautiful, but even that doesn't even do it justice how beautiful it is in here. So thank you for welcoming us in. Okay, before we get started, I would love to hear a little bit about you and your background. Obviously, you're an interior designer, and that I want to know how you kind of got into that world and where your inspiration comes from.
So this home has really actually always been my biggest source of inspiration. I went to school for fashion design and was always in the arts my whole life. And when we got this home, we moved in 5 years ago. I felt like I immediately found my place in interiors and my happy spot, and Instagram allowed me the opportunity to develop a community so I could start my own business. And so I guess, yeah, I could say like my home has always kind of been my muse in that way.
So I would love for you to show us your kitchen and share with us how you designed this kitchen and your favorite pieces in it.
Sure, of course. I think the floor plan for this home is pretty unique because you don't normally walk right into a kitchen. There's no foyer really or entryway. You kind of walk right into the heart of our home, and the kitchen is definitely our most used space. But I wanted it to make an impact. The layout was exactly like this. We used all the existing cabinetry and just kind of painted everything and took this back wall. There was actually just a tiny window on the left. There was like an random upper cabinet. So I wanted to really focus the majority of it on this back wall here. So we put in the window and we added the stone. I'm always really inspired by European design. We got married in Italy, and that has always been my biggest source of inspiration, I think, design-wise, which I'm sure I know we relate to.
Yes,
for sure. Over here, I'll show you guys the shelves. We had this awkward little ledge, and obviously this is a small kitchen, so any functional storage was necessary. So we added these in, and it was kind of a place to display all of our prettier things, our glassware, our plates. All the things I've collected over time. So it's always evolving, but these are all things we use on a daily basis, so it functions well.
I just can't imagine washing my dishes and then this is my view. You have like beautiful trees. It feels very secluded and like intimate.
Yeah, we got really lucky. Those trees were here when we moved in. Every little thing in here has for the most part, has been thrifted, other than our serveware and our dinnerware. All of these pieces I found when I was on various thrifting trips or markets like Brimfield. I get a lot of them. All of our wood cutting boards over here and that lamp are all from various antiquing or thrifting, or there's always a piece it's always found. It's taken a long time to collect all of these things and make a space that feels layered, but I like that each piece has a story.
Yes.
Like I know that I got that on my last trip to Brimfield, which I love going to every year, and then that marble pedestal I found on an antiquing trip with one of my best friends, and I think all of those things come together to tell your story.
Yes.
And make a space feel truly like you.
You can't get this look quickly.
No.
It takes time.
It takes so much time. Home takes time, and I think it takes time to develop your own unique take and personality and create a space that really feels authentically like you. And that's done with different various trips and going over on vacations overseas and experiencing and seeing new things, and then bringing in those elements into your home in little ways.
Yes. Is there anything else in this room that you want to touch on?
Actually, this mirror over here was kind of crucial in the design because I love playing with mirrors within a home, especially if they're reflecting something beautiful, they're reflecting light, and I think in small spaces, adding a mirror just makes it feel bigger. Yes. So that was like a very intentional element over there. That was actually an antique that a family member had for a really long time.
Really?
Yeah,
that's so special.
Storage.
I love when there's pieces from your family too in your home. It looks like it was meant for this space.
I think it ties in the brass and the nickel and all the different finishes, and I love like the hammered metal detailing on it. And the shape, I think the size was perfect.
Can you take me into your dining room now?
I sure can.
Yes. All right, let's go. I think this is one of my favorite spaces in your home. I'm probably gonna say that in every room. I mean, you talk to me first about the pieces in here that are special to you, where you got them, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I always knew I wanted a banquette seating in here because I wanted this room to feel like this is where we spend most of our time. We entertain a lot. I wanted people to be able to hang out while we were cooking, and I wanted that to very much be the experience. So we started with the banquette, and I couldn't find a table. I searched forever and ever, and then I wound up finding this old bar top somewhere from this guy in Long Island. It didn't have any legs. As you can see in the back, that's kind of where it was screwed into the wall. So we kind of cut it up and we put some legs on it and we made it into a table, and it's functioned so well. It has this like lacquer over the top that's kind of indestructible, which is awesome.
Wow.
But still shows the patina of the wood. I'm dying to find out what it is so I can put it on every single wood piece I own. I have not had any luck.
That's so unique. I love that you did that and thought to do that. You thought to use it as a dining table. That's such a good idea.
The wood was so beautiful, and I also made the coffee table in our living room and the coffee table in our sitting room, and I love working with old wood, and especially when you mix it with different elements like these metal chairs, which are also these are a marketplace find.
The lines on these, when you posted these on Instagram, I literally gasped. I couldn't believe they're just.
When I found them, I gasped.
It's so easy to see these chairs on like an ugly Facebook Marketplace listing and not think twice about it, but because you have that eye and you've trained your eye over the years, you were able to see that in an uglier context and be like, those are gorgeous. And I think that's a skill that is definitely learned. Finding treasures amidst the junk and being able to spot them.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for people on how to like gain that skill or the confidence in that?
I think it's just learning to trust your eye. And also not just looking for one particular thing. Whenever you're going thrifting or you're looking on Marketplace or you're going to an antique fair, when you have like a particular thing that you want in mind, I feel like it's the last thing that you'll ever find. And sometimes when you see something, you just have to go for it. Maybe you don't have a spot for it then, or now just start collecting and then move things around in your home. Not everything has to be bought for a particular spot. I've definitely picked up things where I'm like, oh, I thought that was gonna work there, and it didn't, or it wasn't the right size or whatever, but you hold on to it and it always comes back around. So I think just collect things that you love, that feel like you, and it will all come together.
I would love for you to tell us a bit about these amazing lights you have.
So these I knew I wanted a lantern here. And I looked for a really long time and wound up finding a guy it was hard to find matching ones because the length of the table I had to have two when looking for antique lanterns.
Yeah.
And I wound up finding this guy on Cherish who sold me both of them from Florida. And I love the way they turned out. I think they add so much to the space. Yeah, the verdigris is so pretty on them.
Oh, and you got a beautiful little cheese board.
We're gonna dig into that later.
Oh, my stomach has been grumbling. For sure. Tell us a bit about this wall.
So I painted this mural. It's a little bit of an experiment and kind of on a whim, but
it's beautiful.
I wanted to bring, this outside, it's hard to see now because it's winter, but this tree is so beautiful, and I kind of wanted to extend that in. When you're sitting here in the picture window, I wanted to bring that kind of element inside. So I just started painting some leaves, and one thing led to another, and I really like how it came out. You never know, you gotta try new things.
Yeah, and the worst thing that happens is you hate it, you paint over it.
Exactly, you paint over it. You'll surprise yourself sometimes.
So tell me a bit about this piece. Where did you find this one?
So this piece, I actually got at Brimfield. Again, another Brimfield find. But this is one of the first one I ever went to with me and my husband. We came across this piece. It was in rough shape. It was taken from an 1800s barn. It was yellow, like not a good yellow either. I'm not opposed to yellow, but it was chipping. The whole top had been eaten away by animals just from being in a barn, but the scale of it was so awesome. And I loved the old glass on the doors, and I was like, we can work with this. So we put all new trim on the top and new drawer fronts and hardware and painted it, and I think it brings so much character to the space.
I think a lot of people would see this in its old state and probably not think twice.
Totally. And also I think when you're working on a budget too, it's like sometimes pieces might need a little bit more love, but I would have never been able, especially when we had just bought the house, to afford a piece of this scale had I bought it already looking the way that it does.
Yes.
So we were able, it was a deal, it was a steal, and we worked with it. And I think that just to not be afraid of a little bit of sweat equity in your pieces in your home and everything, it goes a long way.
So you've shared a lot about Facebook Marketplace, antique shops, thrift stores. Is there anything in here that you'd like to spill the tea on as far as what you bought it for?
Yeah, I mean, this table, I got the top we made the whole table for $200. These chairs were $100. This was a few $100s. I think if you're open to it and willing to get a little bit creative, you can furnish a home when you're on a tight budget. I mean, most of the things in my home are found at a good price, and kind of the diamond in the rough, I would say. Even, I mean, from down to the kitchen renovation, we did not work with a large budget in this house whatsoever.
Wow. That's like almost hard to believe because of how beautiful and unique it is, and just the special pieces in your home. So that's so encouraging to hear. Like,
that means a lot.
You can have this beautiful home, you know, even if you have a tight budget, it doesn't.
Absolutely,
that doesn't limit you. And actually, I think it can. Wouldn't you say that like having a budget actually yields more in the end? Like I feel like sometimes people not having a budget, you'll just buy everything at once, and then it doesn't have that collected feel as much.
Yeah.
And even if you have a big budget, it's good to just take your time and to not rush in, even though you can buy everything.
I completely agree. Sure, there are definitely things that I've saved up for and splurged on, and as we go through the house, we can talk about that as well. I think it's all about a balance.
Yes.
Like there are certain things that you're going to spend on and you have to invest on, or you need to budget for, and then all the rest you can really have fun with.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Of course. Shall we go into your living room?
Of course, let's go.
All right, lead the way.
Step over, Maddie.
Oh my, this is a showstopper. Why don't you tell us a bit about the pieces in here? Steals, splurges, just talk about it all.
I want to preface that it took almost 5 years for the room to get to where it is. I say it to my clients, and I think it's always important to invest in your upholstery first. So that's what we did. We bought the couch.
Nice.
And that was sort of like, my husband wanted a big, cozy, comfy couch, and I kind of wanted an in-between. So we started with the 6-penny couch, and we love it. And I kind of built the rest of the room from that.
This is a 6-penny couch? Wow.
I custom designed the slipcover.
Okay, because I was like, the slipcover, I haven't seen that on their site, and that is amazing.
I just love skirted sofas and pleats and ruffles and like little elements of that in the home. And I had envisioned it forever, and then I reached out to the team at 6-penny, and they worked with me to make it. And I love how it came out. I think it adds such like a soft touch to such a large sofa and some very boxy lines. We built the coffee table. These are from old pine, I think they were barnwood floors. That we made into. I wanted something low that you could put your feet up on, and that kind of expanded the full width of the couch, and that was really hard to find pre-made.
Yeah.
Whether I looked on Marketplace or anything even that I could buy new. So we wound up making it. Over the mantle, those are my great-grandmother's. That's my great-grandmother's art, which I have kind of throughout the house. She's always been a huge source of inspiration for me. These are my husband's grandmother's old chairs from her home that we had reupholstered.
Why don't you tell us a bit about this tapestry? I know you were hunting for a while for this beauty. Tell us a bit about the journey.
We not all love tapestries.
Yes,
so much. I love them. They are very hard to find at an affordable price point, as you know. And this I actually got on Invaluable. I was bidding on tapestries for months and months and months, and I scored this one for a few $100s, which for the scale of it was amazing. It came from some antique gallery in London. And I wasn't even sure if it was gonna come because it was such a good deal. I was like, no way, it's too good to be true.
Scammed.
It's here and it's beautiful and I love it, and it was worth all the time put into sourcing. I love what a tapestry brings to a space. This is an 1800s tapestry.
I love your pine table in the corner there. So
this was actually a Marketplace find. I think if I had to pick a favorite Marketplace find, this would be it.
Amazing.
I love it. I don't know how old it is. The woman had no history on it. She was just getting rid of it. I think I got it for $40.
Wow.
And it's one of my favorite pieces. I had it in a guest room and I was like, it's too pretty to put in a guest room. I want to look at it all the time.
Yeah.
So I moved it out here right by the fireplace.
It's so good. I love how worn it is.
So worn. It's wonky and wobbly and amazing, and I love how imperfect it is. It even like slopes in. You could tell there was like stuff sitting on it over time.
Wow, I love that. And I love that you have your wood for your fireplace and there's a big clamshell. It's so fun.
I just picked that up in Connecticut actually on marketplace as well. I've wanted one of them forever.
I'm obsessed with this tree in the corner and that big pot.
I made the planter. I made a lot of things in here. I made that. That was actually one of my first DIYs.
Okay, you have to explain yourself.
A planter of that size, I could have never.
Because they're so expensive. I thought you were gonna say that was one of your splurges because I've looked for planters like that. Oh my gosh, you have to tell me.
We wound up making this custom mold with like PVC pipes, and then what is it? It's hypertufa mix, so it's cement, and then the peat moss, and then I forget what else goes. Perlite, I think, goes in there.
Okay.
And you mix that all up, and then you kind of just form it until you built it up. It took me like 3 weeks.
I'm gonna put your Instagram here so that people can go and look at your tutorial. You said it's like somewhere on your Instagram.
I have it for the coffee table. I have it for the planter. That's not a fun one, but it's worth it in the end.
Okay. I love your candle sconces. Where did you get them?
I wonder where I got them. This little shop. I went to Zori to have no one mispronounce it. Okay. I'm gonna butcher it now. We should probably redo that.
No, it's to Zori. Okay. No, but it makes me so happy seeing them in your home.
And your other sconces are my favorite too. You guys have the best stuff.
Thank you so much. I had to do that. All right, why don't we go?
I do think they add so much to the space, though. I'm obsessed with them.
Oh, I'm so glad.
These are everything. I have them lit all the time.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I love them.
Shall we?
We shall. To the sitting room.
The light in here is incredible.
This room gets the best light in the whole house. It's just magical. I sit in here all day. This is where I usually do my work for the day. I love this room. When we first moved into the house, it definitely took me time to figure out what I wanted. I had it as a dining room.
Okay.
First, and a formal dining room. We were always eating in the kitchen. It just felt like such a waste of space to have. We don't have a big enough house to have this room that we use 2-3 times a year when we're hosting holiday dinners. And I was like, I feel like it would be so nice to have this is the TV room, to have a room where we can just relax. I can put all of my plants. It's pretty, I could have my chandelier that I always wanted to have and just make it a really beautiful space that we can, when we're hosting, we can come in here. We do game nights in here and it's functioned for us so much better. So I think that like living in your home and really figuring out how you're gonna utilize your spaces takes time as well.
Yeah.
And not just the actual furnishing of it, but like how it serves you best.
Yes. These are beautiful. Where's this bowl from?
So this is an actual Willy.
Oh my gosh. Where'd you get it? Brimfield?
I did. But it was an amazing deal. This guy, Jersey Junker, he's the best if you're ever looking to get one. He buys them in bulk and he just has the best pricing on them. So this was a splurge, but it was also one I wanted for years and years and years, and finally pulled the trigger on when I was able to do it.
Yeah.
So that balance of splurge and save is invest in pieces that you've had your eye on forever. If you still love them in a few years and you're able to do it, I think, those are the things you keep in the back of your mind.
And you'll know what those pieces are, and you'll feel good about it. You don't feel that like stress that comes with, I feel like when you are saving in the right areas, then you have the freedom to splurge and feel good about it.
Yes, and a piece like this, it's art. You collect it, it will always hold its value.
Yes.
So those are fun things to invest in. It was broken, which I liked about it because I like imperfect things.
Yeah.
So I was able to get, an even better deal on it.
Oh yeah, give me the broken one. Let me break it. And then that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. Let's go to this corner of the room.
Okay. This was actually, it's from the 1700s, and I got it at an estate sale in Greenwich. And I just think it's the most awesome piece. The fact that it's so substantial, it's so heavy. It took 3 guys to get it in here.
Wow.
But it was the first piece that was in this room. It was in here even when it was a dining room. And I love it. I love it so much. I think I normally gravitate towards like a lot of natural woods.
Yes.
And but I just love the like old white paint. I can never even imitate a finish like that myself. So this is I always say one of my favorite pieces. I guess I really don't have a favorite. I just
it's good that it should be that way. It should be that every piece in your home you're like, I love this, and this, like, you can't choose a favorite because everyone is so special. Ta-da!
This room is actually, I've relayed it out a million times. I feel like it's been the hardest room to get right. I've really kept this room very, very simple, very zen. I feel like it's so nice in the morning I kept the color palette very muted. We added in the chandelier.
Beautiful.
Which I love. And the ceilings in here, this is actually the only space in the house where the ceilings are 9 feet tall. So I was able to get away with having, you know, a lower hanging chandelier in here. I don't know, I feel like a bedroom doesn't need much.
Yeah.
It just needs to be cozy.
Cozy, calming.
Cozy, calm.
Yeah.
Relaxing. Okay.
I love just all the warm tones, and this piece is incredible.
And so we also don't have a lot of closet space, so we needed a lot of furniture to hold all of our things. This was another marketplace find.
This is next level. This is like luxury.
The other bathrooms leave much to be desired. We waited 4 years to be, this wasn't even a usable bathroom. There was a washer dryer in here, and the shower you couldn't use because it just leaked. And it was a very awkward layout. Everything was pushed to the side. And so we really took our time to think about like what we really wanted and how we wanted the space to flow. And for me, it was a bathtub. Like I think you're either a bath person maybe or you're not, but I wanted to be able to fit the tub in here and have that moment. So with the space we had, it really only worked to do like a full sort of wet room. So that's what we went with. And I wanted to tie in the elements from the kitchen into here. So we brought in the stone. If you have to look at the toilet right when you walk in, it might as well be pretty, right?
Yes, no, so smart. And the archway too, I just love the arches. You have a few curved, and it just adds that European feel throughout the house.
This was like a pinch me moment when we did this because it was actually life-changing. Like everything else we had done before that was just very cosmetic, which is equally as important. But this, like to have a functioning bathroom that sat for 4 years where we couldn't use it was a game changer.
Wow. Well, it's
so incredible. It takes time.
Yes.
Definitely takes time. We did a lot up here to be able to have guest rooms.
Okay.
We just laid all of the wood floors and now we have these tiny, cozy, I think super cozy little spaces.
Oh my gosh, I would sleep over all the time.
Another tapestry because I can't help myself.
I mean, it's also, I love that you used it on your bed. Like
I didn't have another wall for it and I thought, why not?
That's so smart.
And this is these rooms up here are very much like a conglomeration of like all the things I collected, but maybe didn't have a space for, like those sconces I got years ago, and we were able to finally just hang up, like holding on to those things that maybe you don't have a spot for right away, but will one day.
Yes.
When you're ready. And then over here.
It's so cozy up here. I love the tiny mirror in between the windows. So sweet. And that lamp.
That's a crate and barrel.
And also, I'm gonna keep asking you because I'm looking for a bed skirt. Where'd you get this bed skirt?
All my bedding in the guest rooms is from Amazon. I mean, I think especially when you're working with rooms that are utilized not so consistently, like you don't have to spend a lot of money on your bedding and your linens and all the finishes. Like you can easily pull something beautiful and comfortable, and they're so soft. Like I don't really feel like you're sacrificing quality to do so.
Thank you again for taking us through your home. It's truly like inspiring me so much, and I'm like, wow, I want to go home and do this, and that now, and I know that it's going to inspire our viewers so much.
I love you guys. Thank you for including me.
Oh my gosh, of course. I would love to know, what do you hope people feel when they come into your home?
I hope that they feel the love in the space. I think that homes very much have an energy, and the more love you put into them and the more memories that you make, that's very much a feeling. It doesn't even matter how it looks. Your home should feel like a warm hug. I say it to all my clients too, and I hope it's when you really love something and are really passionate about it, I think that shows, and that's a feeling that people get when they walk in the door. And I think that and everybody can emulate that in their own home. You're absolutely right. I feel like if I were to come and hang out, I'd be like, I would never want to leave. And we love when people are here. We never want them to leave. So that works out perfectly for me and for my husband. Aww. It's super important to us that everybody feels at home here. What are some like practical things you can do to make your home more comfortable, comforting?
that you might give like a tip to somebody else, what would you say?
I think something as simple as like lighting some candles, setting the mood, low lighting, a bunch of lamps, like put on the lamps, like just a space that feels cozy and calming. You don't have to have a million things all over the place, but like simple acts of just like that little extra step. Like I lit the candles or I put out some fresh flowers. I feel like those things go a long way.
You're so right.
I think also too in how you arrange a room, like arrange your furniture, like there should be little moments of conversation. Like when we have this big long couch, so the stool acts like if someone else was sitting here, we were a larger group, someone can sit here by the fireplace and we can all kind of chat together. Or like in the sitting room, I made it very circular, so everyone's always looking at each other. Like those little pockets of moments where people can chat and make those memories, and you know, in your own home. That's definitely so helps as well.
I love that point you've been saying, like as you live in it, you'll see like kind of the holes and what needs to be filled. And I think that's so true. It's like so easy to have a space and just want to have it all done and put together, but it's true, as you start to like sit and live in your space, and you'll be like, oh, okay, you know, we could use this would make this moment more comforting, more cozy, this would make this more relaxing, or whatever it is that you want to feel in your home. Those things will come into your mind as you just live in it.
Absolutely. I mean, we had no furniture for probably I didn't rush to buy anything. We had a tiny little dining table in our kitchen. We came from an apartment, so we didn't have much to bring over anyway, and I didn't feel this like I need to do it all. Like I painted things, I repainted things. You know, you experiment and you figure out what feels right. I feel like a lot of times people get this, like they get into a space and they just want it to feel instantly done.
Yeah.
And I think the best design and the best things happen over time.
You kind of already touched on this, but do you have any more tips and tricks for people who are trying to furnish their home but are on a tight budget? What would be your suggestions for them?
Don't be afraid to learn how to use a new tool or to make something yourself. I made a lot of our first furniture pieces. Thankfully I had the help of my family, my dad who knew a little something about it. I wasn't going in blind, but I never would have thought I could have made the coffee table. Sometimes you just have to go for it and do it, and you're able to make things for a fraction of your material cost, really.
We just did a pantry in our apartment, and Andrew built planters, and it's like, it feels scary at first, and mind you, I'm usually just like painting and watching him and telling him what I want it to look like. But it's like,
a guy.
He is. And he said, you know, at first it feels overwhelming, but then it's like really therapeutic for him too. He said that. You feel that way, right?
I can see it in his face.
But it feels like good. You realize, wait, you know, this is like not as far out of reach as you think.
But I think you appreciate it more too. Like when you worked on a space yourself and you see it come together, it's so gratifying.
Yeah.
Like rather than if you just went to a store and bought it.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's the thrill of the find is great too, but like when you were able to make something with your own hands that you envisioned, that it's so rewarding.
If there's one thing that our viewers could walk away from from watching your video, what would you hope that would be? What would be your piece of advice?
So I think what I would say is being at peace with the space that you're in now and knowing that you can achieve your dream space over time. I think we're so used to instant gratification nowadays with the way we absorb content on our phones, and we're always looking for the next best thing, and that very much translates into our lives and in our spaces. And good things take time. And I think that's just something that I need to constantly remind myself of as well. And you can enjoy your home and love your home in every phase, and we have very much done that from when the excitement of first walking in the door and getting the keys and having no furniture to every little piece that has trickled in. We've loved our home, and I have been so proud to live in this space all throughout, and I hope that people can feel that without thinking of what it's lacking, what it's not, and see it and love it for what it is.
That's beautiful, because I think it's so easy, not people, me, us all, it's like when a home isn't your dream or it's not at that stage that you want it to be, it's so easy to just pick it apart.
So
I feel
easy.
like and that's so common, especially like you're saying with Instagram, just to pick apart your space and be seeing the things that are missing or seeing the things that aren't quite as you would wish them to be. But I love that you're saying just to love your home where it's at, and over time it will grow into that dream space that you want it to be. it's so simple, but I think I like need to hear that because it's so easy for me to be just looking around and be like, oh, well, once this is like this, once that is like this, then it'll really, whatever.
Then I'll love it. Then we'll be there. Like, we're always looking at the end goal. And I think also too, we naturally are comparing ourselves to everybody else, this comparison culture, because whether we're doing it intentionally or inadvertently, just we're constantly seeing new things and we're comparing ourselves to other people's lives or their own journeys or where they're at. And I think that very much translates into our spaces, into other aspects of our lives. So that level of like happiness and gratitude in your space and knowing that like Rome wasn't built in a day and we can't be comparing ourselves to someone who's been, you know, living in their home for 20 years and has collected over time, or even 5 years when you're just starting out. It's very much a journey.
That's so good. Thank you for that. Obviously, you're an interior designer and you're based in New Jersey.
Yes.
So if people want to find, where can they find you and find your work?
I will have a website very soon. I don't. It's been all through word of mouth and Instagram for the past few years, which has been such a blessing. But you can always find me on Instagram. My email's on there.
Okay. And do you?
And I will have a website.
We'll put the website in the bio once it's ready.
Yes, exactly.
And do you work solely in New Jersey? Do you also do online stuff, or are you just?
I do online consultations. I've done remote projects. I do both commercial and residential.
Okay, cool. So thank you.
Thank you guys.
This was so fun.
It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
So much fun.
Well, you guys, if you liked today's video, make sure to comment and like and subscribe. It really helps us. And also tell us what were your favorite moments from today's video, your takeaways. I think that's it.
That's it.
Yes.
Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap. High five. With all the dog food. They're like flying
This is
everywhere.
real life. This is real life.